Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the bill.
To the bill.
So, in committee, we wrestled with some fairly compelling issues related to values that are very important to all of us, I think, and to our country and to our community. And that's the value of freedom of speech, as well as the right of people to grieve their loved one. These are not easy issues to balance, but I think that HB 3241 successfully does that. And let me explain a little bit. Some of the maybe less obvious issues about balancing these rights have to do with confusion about the message. So funerals can express a lot of opinions, a lot of messages about political viewpoints, about the military in this case, about family traditions, about family history, and of course about the life and the passions and the joys and the sadness and the death of the deceased. Things, again, that are profoundly important to us, to our community, and are a critical part of the grieving process for the family of the deceased. So, on the other side, we have the freedom of speech interest of the protesters, in this case, the picketers, the funeral picketers. And although we may not want to support their right, I know that I personally don't, we still value the right to freedom of speech even when we disagree with what is being said. But the message that the picketers in close proximity to the funeral could communicate to an observer would be that the funeral host actually endorses the message of the picketers. This is obviously an issue not only of the friction between the funeral and the grief and the picketers with their message, but it's also an issue of confusing messages and confusing the rights to freedom of speech of the two interested parties. So what we did in committee is we looked at how can we create a zone of modest size in which the confusion of expression could be avoided. It's one of the things that we tried to work on. To try to find a way that the expression of both parties can be made, but not confused by being in close proximity. We worked to tailor this effort very carefully and narrowly, and as a matter of fact, we concluded that a 400-foot reservation, which is what is called for in the bill, a 400-foot zone, is reasonable in time and place and is guidance that will help to avoid the message confusion that I mentioned. Through careful consideration and work on amendments by a number of folks who spent a lot of their time and effort on this, and I want to thank them, the representative from the Bedrock District, the representative from Clackamas, and the representative from Lake Oswego, all very well done to work this out. We worked to get the proposal to 400 feet, which is the equivalent of 2 short city blocks or 1 big city block. It's not that far away. It's not going to infringe on the freedom of speech rights of the picketers. And we wanted to focus the bill on funerals that actually intend to express an opinion and elect to do so by an application process. So this is narrowly tailored. It will not infringe on freedom of speech. We believe that it will withstand constitutional muster. There was a recent Supreme Court case that went the other way, but it involved a much bigger zone and completely different facts and circumstances. So I want to thank the representative from the Aviation and Agricultural District for bringing this bill, and I want to urge all of you to vote aye on 3241.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion?